Hey guys, it's ARTFX and welcome to ARTFX Tutorial Tuesday. So last week I talked to you about mainly FM synthesis and how to make these growly type of bass sounds. So I think it worked out pretty well. And today we're gonna do it totally different. We're not gonna make any of those kind of bass sounds, but today we're gonna make high-pitched bass sounds. Also, I think I want to relate more with you, and I said that earlier. I want questions. I want questions about music production, video editing, photography, everyday life. You know, I don't care. As long as the questions are interesting to answer and do have some sort of a worthy value for other people to watch. Now, I got quite some questions in the couple of last weeks. Most of them were questions about music production, which I liked. So I've already recorded the first question answering round. I'm editing it right now. It's probably gonna be up somewhere this week. And it's gonna answer most of the questions you guys asked in the comment section under all my videos. Stay tuned for that. And I'm gonna take this freaking thing off for a moment. I'm gonna answer those questions very soon. I'm working on them. And it's going to be quite interesting. So I hope you guys like this kind of videos, because I want more people to come to my channel and to basically feel connected, you know, ask me questions and feel the need to ask me questions because they want to know something about me. What's more? Yeah, for the questions, you can ask me questions on my YouTube channel, so you can just post a comment below, ask you a question there, and I'll see your comment as soon as I come online. You can also go to my website, post a comment on one of the articles. I'm also gonna use that in my videos. You can also go to my Facebook fan page, where you post the comment directly on my wall or below one of my status updates. Maybe you want to send me more than just a comment, you know, and the YouTube comment section is pretty short, you know, you have a certain amount of characters, so maybe your question is longer than that and you want to have more space to ask me the question. Well, from now on you can send your emails to fanmail@artfx-studios.com, and I'm gonna put the email address in the description box and in the video right now. Also, if you've got any other things that you want to send me, I don't think whatever you would want to send me, but I love getting stuff from people, I love getting stuff from my viewers and actually connecting with them. So if you want to send me anything, and I really don't care what, send it to my email address and I'm gonna see it probably the same day, and I'll get back to it with the next vlog video. For now, I think it's time to move on to the tutorial. Here we are back again with the project from last week. Let's get started. This is the bass patch I made last week. Sounds pretty growly, although I might have to change the automation a bit. For now, I'll leave it like this and move on to the high-pitch laser bass. So under all my tracks, I create a new MIDI track. I then drag this in my bass group and I call this high-pitch bass. I also include the hashtag symbol again, which is replaced with the track number. I then control-click and drag the MIDI clip from the bass from last week down to the new track, since we can use the same clip for this. I do change one thing inside this clip. I make the E note 2 octaves higher in pitch, since we are making a high-pitch sound. Okay, so let's solo the bass group and add operator to this track, since I think we're going to use a combination of FM and subtractive synthesis for this kind of sound. This means that I'll do some frequency modulation to get a kind of different sound, and then I add a filter to take frequencies out again. At the right hand side of operator, you can find the routing menu. Click it so the available routing options are shown. Now you can choose any from these options. For instance, in the first one, D is modulating C, then C is modulating B, and finally B is modulating A, and then out to the filter section. While the second one has D and C parallel to each other, and both are modulating B, then B modulates A, and then out to the filters. For this sound, I'll use the one where D, C and B are modulating the frequency of A. Now, also for this sound, we need a high pitch bend amount. This is currently set to 5 semitones, which is way too low. So I'll change that to 24 semitones. Let's change the chorus of oscillator A to 2. This is the pitch of the oscillator, or better said, the frequency. Let's also change the waveform of this first oscillator to a square wave. Now right here, you can add extra harmonics to the waveform. So if I draw in here, you can notice the waveform shape is changing. Now a square wave only uses odd harmonics, so I right-click this window and I select odd from the drop-down list. Now I can change the harmonics of the square wave. I'll let it drop down in the middle, and then I'll let it raise again towards the high frequencies. Now if I play this, it almost sounds like a low-pass square wave, although there is no filtering involved. I still notice that weird clicking sound. Now what can it be? Maybe it's just my stupid ass driver that's driving things mad. Let's check the buffer settings. Ah, yeah, right there it is. Yes, a lot better. Now for oscillator B, let's change the chorus to 0.5 and set the waveform to a square 16 wave. Now if I raise the volume of oscillator B, it starts to modulate the frequency of oscillator A. I think it sounds pretty decent around -40 dB. For oscillator C, I choose a square 16 waveform and change the chorus to 4, which is twice the amount of oscillator A, and if I raise the volume it also starts to modulate the frequency of oscillator A. Around -34 dB, it sounds pretty good. Now if I turn the oscillators on one by one, you can really hear the effect. Okay, so now we need to make the laser effect. I open up the MIDI clip and go to the envelopes for the pitch bend. Here I make the laser effect. Now this selected part is a 16th note, which is the length of one laser in this sound. So now I drag this line up and it creates a 16th note automation. Now I just need to drag the top left point a 32nd note inwards. Now you can hear the single laser effect. So I need to repeat this, so now I select the automation we just made and right click, then choose copy envelope. I then select the next 16th note and press Ctrl+V or right click and choose paste. Then I press Ctrl+V again a couple of times and I paste it until the end of the clip. Now, I made a second one with a little bit different pattern. This is how the pattern looks, and this is how it sounds. So now with the drums. Okay, time to add in an EQ8. I use this EQ to take out all the frequencies below 300 Hz, since I don't think these frequencies add something good to this sound. They only muddy things up. I also give it a little boost in the high mids and highs to bring those a little bit more up front. Now I select both the EQ and operator and press Ctrl+G on my keyboard to group them in an instrument rack. I do this so I can layer another synth beneath this laser sound. Now I make another operator in a second layer and then I solo this instance of operator. Let's change the pitch bend amount to 24 semitones so it follows along the same pitch bend automation as the laser layer. And for this operator, let's change the chorus to 0.5 and then transpose the full operator down to semitones. Now we have sub-bass. But that's not what I want. Let's change the waveform to a saw wave. Now maybe I can make it even lower. So let's drop it another octave. I then choose the less routing option, which basically nullifies all FM parameters. Now operator acts like a normal synth. Now for oscillator B, I take another saw wave, but I leave the chorus at 1, so it has twice the frequency of oscillator A. I can now make a nice balance between the two by using the volume knobs. Then I activate the filter. This is going to follow the same automation as the pitch. The filter in operator also has a wave shaper built in, which you can access right here. This can give some interesting results. So now I make a good balance between both layers in the instrument rack. Now it's time to copy the automation on the pitch to the filter cutoff. So I go to the automation, I then select it and right click and choose copy envelope. Then I go to the filter cutoff in this drop down menu and press Ctrl+V. Now I only need to take all the bottom points down, since filters cannot be modulated in negative and positive values. Now let's do the same for the second clip. Now I can play around with the filter types to create a little bit different effect. Also the wave shaping options are nice to add some warmth or grit to the layer. Now if I raise the resonance, something interesting happens. The sound starts to scream, but is then heavily affected by the wave shaper, and thus it creates this sound. Now I can add an EQ8 to this layer and take out everything below 100 Hz, since we don't need those frequencies. So basically this layer adds some more grit to the sound. Now it's time to distort this quite a bit to give it even more grit. I add camel fat to my track after the instrument rack and then I choose the blank preset. Now I activate the distortion panel and take down the volume. First I raise the tube amount to add that nice distorted warm sound. Then I raise the mag, which introduces some more distorted high frequencies. Finally I activate the compressor panel and raise the amount till just before halfway, and I lower the release all the way down. This makes the overall volume of the bass nice and even. So, now this is the bass together with the drums. Sounds pretty rad. See ya.